extinct animals. They still capture our imagination. Some vanished millions of years ago. Others, maybe, just a few decades back. But on a planet with unexplored oceans, impenetrable jungles, and endless tundras, who can say for sure that they're really gone forever? Today, we're diving into 9 extinct creatures that might still be out there, from the original unicorn to a predator capable of hunting dinosaurs. Get comfortable, because what you're about to discover will make you question everything you thought was extinct. 1. Elasmotherium. The Siberian unicorn picture. A frozen landscape 40,000 years ago. Through the mist and wind, a colossus covered in thick fur moves slowly. Its head bears a massive horn, capable of breaking ice or fending off predators. This isn't a myth. It's Elasmotherium sibiricum, the Siberian unicorn. This giant herbivore was part of the rhino family, but its appearance was nothing like its modern relatives. It stretched nearly 13 feet long, stood 7 feet tall, and could weigh over 4 tons. Its central horn, made of keratin, could reach up to 6 feet in length, and some researchers believe it was also used to shovel snow in search of roots during those brutal glacial winters. For centuries, fossils found across Russia, Kazakhstan, and Mongolia fueled the idea that unicorns were real. Even some ancient Chinese texts describe a large, shaggy animal with a single massive horn living in the northern steppes. The most recent remains of Elasmotherium date back to just 39,000 years ago, meaning it coexisted with modern humans. Maybe our ancestors saw them with their own eyes, and those encounters slowly transformed into legends of unicorns and sacred beasts. Today, in the most remote parts of Siberia, some herders claim to have seen enormous, dark-furred creatures with a shadow on their forehead that looks like a horn. There's no solid proof, but in those lands where the cold freezes time itself, maybe something ancient is still walking beneath the northern lights. 2. Deinosuchus, the terror of the river. If dinosaurs thought they ruled the earth, Deinosuchus was the exception that made them tremble. This prehistoric crocodile reached over 33 feet in length and weighed nearly 8 tons. It was a formidable predator that inhabited the rivers and swamps of North America around 70 million years ago. Unlike modern crocs, its body was far more robust, with a colossal skull and teeth as big as a soda can. Fossil marks found on the bones of hadrosaurs and even carnivorous dinosaurs prove Deinosuchus hunted anything that came near the water to drink. It would wait perfectly still beneath the surface, and then, with a sudden ambush, drag its victim down to drown. Its name literally means terrible crocodile, and it lived up to it. Some paleontologists consider it the greatest river predator of all time. Here's where it gets unsettling. Modern reports. In the swampy areas of Louisiana, Texas, and Florida, there have been documented cases of fishermen swearing they've seen crocodiles too big to be real. Some describe dark bodies over 30 feet long that slip beneath the water without a trace. Others have found remains of livestock and broken logs along riverbanks where no known species of that size lives. Scientists usually chalk it up to exaggeration. But here's the thing. In areas where these sightings happen, the ecosystems are almost identical to what Deinosuchus called home millions of years ago. Maybe, deep in some forgotten swamp, the terror of the river is still lurking. 3. Haast's eagle, the shadow in the sky, in our tea. Last video, we talked about the moa, those giant birds that once roamed the forests of New Zealand. But even a giant needs to watch the sky, because up there waited its greatest enemy, Haast's eagle, the largest winged predator to ever exist. With a wingspan exceeding 10 feet, talons longer than a man's fingers, and a weight of up to 33 pounds, it was a hunting machine built to strike from above. It would plummet toward its prey at over 50 miles per hour, sinking its claws in with a force comparable to a wolf's bite. The Maori called it pukai, the thunderbird, and their legends spoke of birds so large they could carry off a child. When the moa were hunted to extinction by humans, Haast's eagle lost its primary food source and vanished, officially at least. In recent decades, hikers and farmers on New Zealand's South Island have reported giant birds soaring over remote valleys. Their silhouettes, backlit against the sun, seem impossible for any living species. Some say they're wandering condors. Others believe Haast's eagle might have survived, hidden in the mountains where no one has set foot for centuries. If it's still out there, it flies in silence, remembering the days when it ruled the skies and hunted giants. 4. Helicoprion, the spiral shark. Few creatures have baffled science quite like Helicoprion, a shark from 270 million years ago with a mouth straight out of a nightmare. Its lower jaw contained a spiral of razor-sharp teeth, arranged like a circular saw. Every time the shark bit down, the spiral would rotate inward, slicing through prey with surgical precision. For over a century, paleontologists argued about what it actually looked like. Some thought the spiral was part of the tail. Others placed it in the throat. It wasn't until modern CT scans that the truth emerged, that buzzsaw was right in the center of its jaw, a living trap of bone and teeth. Helicoprion could reach up to 26 feet long, and it likely patrolled tropical seas. But stories from sailors in Indonesia, the Philippines, and Micronesia tell of sharks with impossible mouths, creatures sporting spiral teeth seen in the deep. In 2019, a deep-sea expedition in the Indian Ocean picked up unusual sounds and the shadow of a massive shape at over 3,000 feet down. The analysis was inconclusive, but many were left convinced the ocean still hides predators science has yet to name. We've only explored about 5% of the ocean floor. And if a shark like this existed once, why couldn't it still exist now? 5. Gigantopithecus, the giant of the forests. Deep in the jungles of Southeast Asia, through the mist and ancient roots, there may have lived a creature that inspired some of humanity's most persistent legends. Gigantopithecus blacki, the largest ape to ever walk the earth. It's estimated to have stood up to 10 feet tall and weighed over 500 pounds. A close relative of modern orangutans, but with far more robust proportions. It lived in China, India, and Vietnam between 2 million and 300,000 years ago, and its diet was mostly plants. But what's most intriguing is its possible connection to modern myths. The people of the Himalayas speak of the Yeti. The Chinese have the Yeren. And in North America, it's Bigfoot. 3 names, 3 continents, 1 description: a hairy, tall, solitary, and elusive being. Some researchers believe Gigantopithecus didn't go completely extinct, but instead retreated into the most inaccessible mountain regions. In 2012, an expedition in China's Hubei province recorded guttural screams and found footprints 18 inches long. Official analysis was inconclusive, but witnesses swore they didn't belong to any bear. Maybe Gigantopithecus isn't just a fossil, but a living memory hidden in the jungle, waiting for the world to see it again. 6. Megaloceros, the giant Irish elk. On the ancient grasslands of Europe lived a truly majestic creature, Megaloceros giganteus, better known as the Irish giant elk. Its appearance was breathtaking, over 7 feet tall at the shoulder, with antlers spanning more than 12 feet, larger than any living deer species. It was a peaceful herbivore, roaming forests and valleys in search of tender shoots and roots. Those massive antlers, besides being for attracting mates, were also formidable weapons against predators. Remains found across Ireland, Russia, and Siberia show it survived until about 7,000 years ago, coexisting with early human communities. Some petroglyphs seem to depict these giant horned creatures, suggesting our ancestors knew them well. There are even legends in Scotland and the Ural Mountains that mention deer of the gods, animals that roamed at night and vanished into the mist. In poorly explored regions of Siberia, nomadic herders claim to have seen deer tracks as big as a horse's. Though science considers them extinct, their ecosystem still exists in remote areas. And if history has taught us anything, it's that the giants of the ice can hide where we least expect them. 7. Coelodonta, the woolly rhinoceros. In the same lands where mammoths once roamed, another colossal beast lived, Coelodonta antiquitatis, the woolly rhinoceros. Covered in thick fur and armed with a pair of massive horns, it was perfectly adapted to the Ice Age climate. It could reach over 13 feet in length and weigh 2 tons. Thanks to the permafrost, we found almost perfectly preserved frozen specimens, complete with skin, fur, and even internal organs. Some fossils are so recent that the possibility of survival in unexplored parts of northern Siberia doesn't seem impossible. In fact, during the 1920s, Russian explorers reported seeing shaggy rhinoceroses crossing the snowy fields near the Lena River. The reports were dismissed for lack of evidence, but the stories persist to this day. Plus, modern genetic research has allowed scientists to sequence its DNA almost completely. Some labs are even discussing the possibility of bringing it back through genetic engineering, just like with the mammoth. Maybe Coelodonta will walk the earth again someday. Or maybe it never really left. 8. Basilosaurus, the monster of ancient seas. Before whales dominated the oceans, there was a creature that blended the best of two worlds: the ferocity of a reptile and the intelligence of a mammal. Basilosaurus, despite its name, wasn't a lizard. It was an ancient whale. It could reach over 60 feet in length, with a long serpentine body, tiny rear flippers, and a jaw full of pointed teeth. Its appearance was so bizarre that when it was first discovered in the 19th century, scientists thought they were dealing with a marine reptile. Its hunting style was aggressive. It devoured sharks, fish, and even smaller whales. Interestingly, many sailor reports from the 18th and 19th centuries describe long, slender creatures with snake-like heads emerging from the depths. Even the sea serpent myths of the Atlantic might trace back to sporadic sightings of Basilosaurus descendants. Today, we know the ocean remains the most mysterious habitat on the planet, with most of its species still undiscovered. Maybe, in those abyssal shadows, the true king of the ancient seas still moves. 9. The Dodo, ghost of the Lost Islands. And we end with a different kind of story. Not about monsters, but about a victim of humanity. The dodo, a flightless bird from the island of Mauritius, officially went extinct in the 17th century. It was gentle, curious, and knew no fear. That was its downfall. European colonists hunted it without mercy and brought animals that destroyed its habitat. In less than a century, the dodo vanished, at least from human sight. But here's a detail many don't know. In the 19th century, some sailors claimed to have seen similar birds on nearby islands in the Indian Ocean. They described them as large, clumsy, with curved beaks, almost identical to the dodo. Could a small population have survived on some forgotten island? No one knows. Today, scientists are working on de-extinction projects, using DNA recovered from fossil remains to bring the dodo back. If they succeed, this bird will become the symbol of a new era, one where humanity doesn't just destroy species, but might also bring them back. Maybe someday, the dodo will once again walk the beaches where it all began. The history of life on Earth is full of disappearances, but also comebacks. The coelacanth, a fish thought extinct for 65 million years, was rediscovered alive in 1938. So, before you write off the giants of the past, remember, this planet still holds corners where time seems to stand still. Maybe some extinct creatures never really left. They're just waiting for the perfect moment to show themselves again.